Hey everybody, it's Skiff, and we are back with another Skiff Smasher Showcase. Today we have on Rickles, the greatest Ganondorf in the world. Rickles, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good, I gotta say. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, thank you for coming on, man. It's I know we've talked about it a few times and for a few months now, so finally kind of getting that going. It's a pretty good feeling, you know. Gonna be able to get some, I think, some fun games in here, but also some good questions. So first things first, without any further ado, where does your tag originate from?
My tag, Rickles, originated from a nickname I got in middle school from my friend Emily. She just called me Rickles one day, and I'm just like, all right, that's cool. Then it came time to join the scene in about October 2015. I went to my first tournament in the scene, and I'm like, I need a tag. So I was like 50-50 between like Rickman and Rickles, and I'm just like, I'll just go with Rickles.
All right. Makes sense. Quick, easy, effective.
Also, my name is Rick. So.
Yeah, I figured that also helps. The first person who I interviewed was actually Eric, me sword fighter main from North Dakota. I was like, oh, hey, where's your tag come from? And it's just his name straight up.
There's a lot of those, man. It's nothing wrong with that.
Right. But anyway, so moving forward here real quick, we get right into the nitty-gritty about Rickles the player. So first things first, I was looking through some of your results before we got started here, looking at some online and offline stuff. I mean, you definitely got some great players that you've beaten before. Like, obviously, you've gotten a game off of Ned, Lights, Rivers, JW, among other players like that. And then online, even, you have Louis Money, AOS, Cloudy, Cola, Mr. E, even. So, like, outside of that, like, what are some results that you're proud of in general? Like, even if it's not one of those players.
Right on. You just kind of like caught me off guard for a second when you said a game, because I guess we got sets on a lot of those players.
I meant to. Did I say game? I meant to say sets.
Yeah, right on. It's definitely a mixed bag there. Yeah, I definitely beat a hell of a lot of players. Yeah. So wait, what was the question after that? Sorry to like be like, oh, but actually, well, like,
basically, even if it's one of those players or outside of those players, what are some results that you're like extremely proud of?
Okay, results that I'm extremely proud of. Off the top of my head, it's just like in terms of like all scales of tournaments. So locally, I've already gotten a few firsts. Like I think I won a tournament as early as the January after Ultimate came out. So like a month into Ultimate, I won a tournament locally where I beat like a pit player that I wasn't really beating in Smash 4 at all. So that was like pretty cool to me. And then not too long after, I think literally the next month, it started coming like all of like really insane results for me for Ultimate. I got first place at Ignition, which is Chicago's biggest local and one of the biggest locals in the country. Like in terms of like attendees and stuff like that, like it would often get over 100 entrants and stuff like that. So to get first place, I think it was like 85 entrants the night I won it. And there's a funny story about that one. It's just like, for months leading up to it, I was going to the Ultimate locals there, and I basically top 8'd every single one of them. And when I went to that tournament that day, they seated me 9th, and I'm like, oh wait, so I'm really driving an hour to be underseated, and like that's kind of crazy,
right?
And then so I straight up told the TOs and DMs, I'm just like, you know what, you can remove me from the bracket if you're gonna see me that low. And like even someone on Twitter was just like, you know, he's top 8 at every tournament, right? Also, I'm not about to lose to you right now. Okay, maybe I will.
Yeah, I think I got you, man. I might have you at least for the first game. And there it goes. It's all falling apart.
Even game here. Woo! Woo!
We're living. We're living, and you're not. Oh wait, you had to jump.
Roll! I'm dead.
I'm dead.
Oh yes! Oh yeah, I don't lose. So,
you definitely got a little nervous though. So anyway, you told the CEO that you're not gonna drive that far.
Oh, I mean, I was already on the road. I'm just like, you can just DQ me and I'll just like do friendlies or something at the event. But like, just credit where credit is due, because like literally, you can't go to a series for 2 months and top 8 every tournament and then not be a top 8 seed anymore. And as a TO myself, I run my own weeklies, so I'm just like, I know how easy it is to like nudge stuff around, like all the 5th placers, all the 7th placers, all the 9th placers. I'm just like, credit where credit is due. Even someone else spoke on my behalf, and I'm like, yeah. So they moved from like 9th seed to like 5th seed, and then I get first place. So it's just like, what's up? You know,
you still out beating your seed. That's crazy.
First place was solo Ganondorf that day. I had to take a victory pick and be like, all right, first place, but Ganon still sucks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Ganondorf just has that fear factor, man. You know, especially for players that might not be as experienced against a good Ganondorf. It can be rough.
Yeah, and I remember the majority of my run. I believe it was I beat Snoofle, a ranked fox. He's been ranked in a lot of times in our region. I want to say I beat. So I definitely beat Jimmy. He went Palutena against me, and I was like early Palutena. And I beat. I think I beat our wolf player. I know his first name. It's Ricky, but the name is. Oh, it's shoot! It just slipped my mind again. I feel so bad because we played so much. I really hope he doesn't watch it. You gotta edit this out for me. But I'm gonna remember it. No, okay. Jeez. This is so bad.
It's all good. It's all good.
I just had to talk about. Okay, so in the winners finals and grand finals, I fought Super Dan, our Mario player. And really cool thing about the second set in particular, because winners finals was game 5 my favor, and in grand finals was game 5 my favor. But he was up 2-0 and a stock, so I basically reverse 3-stocked him and reverse 3-0'd him.
So you really
and
showed
what
out
it came,
that day.
yeah. All right, and it is interesting. I actually did the SFAT technique to reverse 3-0 him, where I took him to his counter pick and I beat him on it.
All right. Well, I mean, hey, sometimes you just gotta do that stuff, you know.
Except it didn't work for SFAT when he tried to take Mewtwo King to FD.
Right. I'm gonna take this game. You're gonna feel really bad about it. Uh-oh.
I'm dead.
No, you're not dead. You're not dead. You're just gonna take some damage.
Oh my god, what the hell is that?
I grabbed your ankle. Uh-oh. Ah! We're both scrambling. I want this victory. You don't want to lose.
No way.
Yeah, way.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
So
I didn't get
moving
the
on.
fastball in time.
So moving on. Let's.
So if you guys want any hot tips on how to beat me, you just got to keep me distracted.
Yeah, it's true. It's all about the conversation. That's why I'm taking a game here.
You know I'm dropping Johns in your video.
It's okay. It's okay. I get it. I get it. But moving on here, let's talk about, you know, you brought up some of the players and stuff like that. I mentioned some of the players that you take in sets off of. So who is a player that you love to fight? Like, you're in bracket or friendlies or whatever. Who's someone that you like? You sit down and you're like, awesome, I get to play this dude. I'm going to have a fun time, win or lose.
Shoot. Honestly, it's basically if I'm being real, it's like just anybody. I just like playing anybody. If it's someone different, I don't care, man. It's like no matter what it is, I like learning. Like if I'm losing, I'm learning. If I'm winning, I'm like, oh, cool. What I've been practicing is paying off. So honestly, any opponent in front of me is really dope. But in terms of like hardcore specifics, this is rough. Cause like, maybe I gotta give it to Earl because like he plays sword characters like Fire Emblem characters and stuff like that, and it's like generally a favorite matchup of mine. So that's usually how it goes for me. It's very hard to find someone that I just don't like to play. I guess other than like Snake Mains, but yeah.
Is that a rib at Apollo Kage?
Just literally any Snake Main in the world.
So I guess that kind of partially answers my next question then, is who's a player that you hate to fight? Just Snake Mains?
Yeah, it's Snake Mains for sure. It's just like it's like character matchups more than anything. So Yeah, I don't know. It definitely rubs me the wrong way when like I fight like a zoner or like a snake or a Belmont, and then they like pop off after beating me, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. But I mean, it's just like at the end of the day, it's matchups. It's just like that's why I'm learning other characters and stuff like that. And if I do kind of want to like dial it back a little bit to like results, I know I just kind of like spoke a lot about like just like one like weekly local win, and like even still like it was just cool to win like the biggest like local in my region at the time. Because that's what that meant to me. Even though, like I said, like our strongest players weren't there that day, so like to an extent, Ned is from my region, and like he's kind of like been a bracket demon for me. We were like in a regional, and I was up 2-0 on him in regional, like on the main stage, and then he reversed 3-0'd me, and it was like a crushing defeat. I never felt like sadder about a loss before then until that day. Like I never felt sad about losses. I'm like, all right, you know, it's like whenever I would lose, I'm just like, all right, cool. I learned a bit, but that was actually when I genuinely felt sad because like I never beat him in Smash 4, and I was dangerously close to beating him there. So it definitely hit me there because like even a local the month before, I met him in winners semis and grand finals, and it was like people were just starting to recognize that like Ultimate Ganon is no longer Smash 4 Ganon. Ultimate Ganon has something to say. So one of my next favorite tournaments aside from that local first place was it's called Ursa Minor 3, which is the pre-Frostbite local.
Right.
At that local, I kind of went ham. I lost like round 2 to like I think it was a Pichu or like a Robin or something. It was a Pichu. I lost to a Pichu round 2, but that Pichu was underseeded. He took like a random person's seed like last minute, so I'm like whatever at TOs. Anyway, underseeded Pichu. He ended up beating me, and then I went on a tear through the losers. And in my losers run, I beat Goma Kenpi, which is a top Olimar from Michigan. And Midwest in general and stuff like that. Like he's top 8 PGR events and stuff like that. So I beat Goma Kenpi. I beat JW, which I mean he's beaten MK Leo and he's like a top Greninja, and Greninja's like famously one of Ganon's worst matchups. And I beat Ned to get to top 8.
Right.
Like
so that was huge for you.
Yeah. I fought Ned 5 or 6 times in state and lost every single time. I got reverse 3-0'd by him, and then I fight him out of state and I get the win on him. And that like to beat Ned to get into top 8 or qualify, it meant a lot to me. And then I didn't even stop from that point on. I beat Zagu, which is a ranked Rob from Michigan, and then like in top 8, I beat Light from Europe, the Palutena, the top Palutena. He's like a top 5 player in Europe, and I think he's from Germany specifically.
Right.
So I beat Light before Nairo. It was just a different Light, or not? But yeah. Basically,
yeah, I'm aware of that light because I remember the first time I saw them when I started really paying attention to the scene. I was like, wait a second, this isn't light. And so I know who you're talking about when it comes to that one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I ended up getting 4th place there, losing to Myron in loser semis, and it was a really cool feeling. And then there might be like 2 more results that really stand out to me. If you want, I can talk about them.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Another one of the coolest results I had is when I flew out to Evo. That whole week was just generally good for me because I entered, like, I was in bracket 5 days out of 5 days that week. So it was a Evo pre-local Wednesday, Evo pre-local Thursday, Evo itself Friday, Saturday, or it was a Saturday, Sunday, I forget. And then Monday I entered another local before I left Vegas. So on the Wednesday before, I entered this thing called shoot. Sorry, I guess turn on music in my ear. So it was the PSG Classic. That's what it was called, PSG Classic. So it's the Evo pre-local. Evo itself has 3,500 entrants. Is the biggest offline tournament ever for Smash Bros. Any Smash game. And we're here at this pre-local. There's over 100 people in attendance. Players from Japan, players from Europe, Mexico, Canada, you name it. You know,
one of the most stacked locals like ever.
Right, yeah. So I was very proud to be the only American in top 8 there.
That's dope, actually.
Yeah, I beat a really strong Japanese player by the tag of YOC. They were a top Cloud / Sheik in Smash 4, so I beat their Cloud and Sheik with my Ganon. And then I beat this ranked Greninja player from Canada, a different one. And then oops. I don't know what happened there. But, I was like dashing and inputting. Let's see. I lost to Meister game 3, by the way. I took game 1. And then he 2-stocked me game 3 and game 2 and game 3. So we all know Meister. So I lost to Meister, And then in losers, I ended up beating Bestness. So that was really good. And then I'm the only American in top 8, and then I lose a game 4 to Gaia, the Japanese Little Max. So in top 8, there's 5 Japanese players, Lutini and Meister, and then myself.
Damn. That's quite the the top 8, you know, to be involved in like a roster of like those types of players. That's got to be something, you know. Even if you don't like do well within the top 8, just to be like within those names, that's got to be like a really special feeling in general.
Yeah, it was a really cool day for me. The very next day, I lost to DDD round 1, and then made a losers run, and I beat Shu, who is, I think, #1 player in Colorado. Oh my god. And, ooh, bye-bye. Yeah. So I beat Shu, and then I lost to Abadango to get 9th. So not too bad. That was like one of the few times I ever like lost the Palutena matchup. I also beat like a ranked Wolf player from Las Vegas who ended up beating Udace that week. So that,
okay.
Yeah, so that was pretty good for me. I keep forgetting the Wolf mains' names. I feel so bad because like they've been known for a long time. They've been playing since Brawl, so I feel like so bad. I remember his first name at least. I remember Ricky's first name. Oh yeah, and then I think it was like SK. Like SK91 or SK72 was the one from Vegas. I don't know numbers. Sometimes there's numbers in there. I might be entirely wrong, but whatever.
I mean, yeah, you can't remember everybody, man. Especially when you travel enough and you play against so many players. I mean, it's just sometimes it's impossible.
I forgot. I had to beat Yez to get out of pools that tournament.
Oh yeah, I did see that win on Yez. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was where I first played Yez. I'm like, who's this Ike that took a game on me, dude? I'm so good at this matchup. Turns out it's literally Yez. Yeah, because he told me he's from Missouri. So I'm like, oh wait, what the hell, dude? It was a nail biter of a set. It's funny because like I have friends in Vegas, so like they came out to the GameWorks to watch me play because they're just coming through, and they're in the music community, so. They came through to watch my Smash set, and I had just lost my winner set to DDD, and I was on the verge of losing my losers round 1 to an Inkling player. So my friend's like, "No, please don't come watch me 0-2." And then I end up getting 9th, like beating like 2 or 3 ranked players. So I felt good about that. And then come Evo itself, I was projected to fight Shuton, but I got upset by a French Mega Man. He parried literally everything. His tag was like. Trim, and it's the same Mega Man that ended up beating Mr. R and winners in the Smash World Tour Europe.
Okay.
So, Trim, yeah, he parried literally everything, and he would never go for an attack option. He always do parry grab. Up until the last parry in the set, he just parry up tilt. I'm like, okay, cool. That's the one time he busted out with Mega Man.
So the dude's just kind of insane then.
Yeah, so I was very upset because I really wanted to fight Shuton, but it is what it is. He ended up taking a game on Shuton too, which is also very cool. And then, so in losers, I beat a ranked player from Hawaii / Utah. Their tag was BBW, a really good Lucina player. I very solidly beat the Lucina. Then he went Diddy and edged it out against me. And then I just also beat his Lucina on the counter pick stage after that because I think he just didn't want to pick Lucina on the next stage or pick Diddy Kong. And then also famously beat like Zan in that tournament. Zan was a top Toon Link in top Toon Link in Smash 4, and he went Young Link against me. And I keep telling people that like Gan and Young Link not really that bad. Like I'm really like actually really good at that matchup. Like I played Skittles a decent amount like before and after that, so I have a pretty good understanding of how to fight and deal with Young Link. And after beating Zan, I lost to like a Nest player in losers. Let's see. But yeah, that's too bad of a run there. And then it was like the GameWorks after Evo, where I went to a local where it was just like 12 players or 16 players, and me and Mr. E were the top seeds, and I beat Mr. E in winners finals, and then he beat me in grand. So
okay, I mean that's still a set though off Mr. E.
Yeah.
That's the champion of Tri-State, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, quite literally that weekend, I beat 2 ranked Lucinas, and then people were like coming at me, like, "Lucina destroys Gan." I'm like, "Yes, but on paper they can destroy each other," you know.
Yeah.
So, so that was Evo, and then hold on. So yeah, the PSG week Evo. Yeah, I think that covers the 4 results I really like. So like the Frostbite pre-local, the Evo pre-locals, and post-locals. Evo itself, because being the biggest tournament ever, and I ended up getting 97th out of 3,500 plus with solo Ganon. And yeah, and then obviously getting first place at my own locals. So it's different scales of events where I did different things.
Right. So you definitely have been traveled a little bit. That kind of answered my next question anyway, which was like a moment that sticks out to you. And you kind of went over a bunch of moments. So I feel like we can kind of just skip over that one. Unless there's another moment that kind of sticks out to you, whether it doesn't just have to be within competition, but just within like, your time in Smash in general.
Is this exclusive to Ultimate, or can I like reel back?
Anything, man. This is all about Smash. It's all about you as a player.
Yeah, so yeah, the moments that stuck out to me were reeling back to Smash 4
in June.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So, June 2018. I think I really so badly wanted to call that like the peak of my Smash 4 career, but at the same time, like while it may have been the peak, it felt like a beginning to me because it's just like finally, like for a very long time, I felt like I had something to bring to the table, and that was kind of like the moment where it's just like, yeah, maybe I know what I'm talking about. Because like in the beginning of June, well, I guess it ranges from like March to June. I'm like, it's like around January of 2018, I'm just like, I'm not gonna play Ganon anymore, and like, January 2018, I don't want to play Ganon anymore. That's like, I've been playing Ganon competitively for 2-3 years, I think, competitively, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna play Ganon anymore. Ganon is like seen as one of the worst in the game. There's no sign of Ultimate, so there's no reason to like care about like anything else and stuff like that. Then I think like around January or March rolled around, they announced Hyrule Saga, and they also announced Ultimate. So it's just like, well, a new Smash game is coming out. I may as well ride it out as Ganon, and Hyrule Saga is happening. I deserve to be there for all that I've done with this character, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to make it a point that like I wanted to get to Hyrule Saga is like a huge like point for me in Smash. And it was really cool seeing like top player names. Like I remember at least like Nick Cat was like vouching for me, and a lot of other top players were vouching for me to get on the compendium. And then I'm getting on the compendium for 2GG, and I get it funded and I get flown out. So I was very happy about that. And then a couple of weeks before I leave in June to Hyrule Saga, I entered a Michigan Arcadian. I was the 30th seed. I got first place. My initial plan to that event was that I'm gonna win doubles and then leave to Nick Cat's birthday party at the wall. And I got fourth in doubles, so I'm like, that's not enough money. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'll play out my singles pool and I'll play until I lose. And then I just didn't lose.
So you definitely made one hell of a run.
Yeah. So as the 30th seed, I was like going pretty ham right there. I had a couple like Yoshis in my bracket, a couple Diddies, and I was very fortunate to fight some like better like Yoshis that were like, or like Diddies that were ranked. And they're like, before I fought my Diddy Kong opponents, Zenodo was at the venue because it's in Michigan, and Zenodo was warming me up for the tournament. So shout out to Zenodo. I ended up getting first at the Michigan Arcadian, and then I showed up really late to the Cat's birthday party, but I got him a bottle of something nice. So,
well, that's good at least.
Yeah, like, hey man, I'm super late, but here you go. I was busy winning a tournament, $500.
Okay, so that definitely covers a moment that pretty much sticks out. I mean, just to get put onto a compendium, I think for any of the 2GG sagas, I think it's pretty cool because that's like the community recognizing you as, hey, you're a pretty good player within these characters. So that's definitely got to be validating for you.
Yeah, and like those were single-handedly my two best Smash 4 runs. I mean, we talked about 4 or 5 of my best Ultimate runs, but those were like 2 of my best Smash 4 runs where I get first place at a Michigan Arcadia. I was unranked players, but then put me in a pool with 800 players at a PGR S tier with actual ranked players, and then I get flown out. People pay for my trip, and I lose round 1 to Bayonetta. And then there's 44 Ganons from there, 800 competitors, 44 Ganons from around the world, Europe, Japan, whatever, dude. There's Pon from Japan, Paragon, X9 from Europe. Oh, I'm dead. And like MGK, bro. MGK was there. Like Forky's, like Anubis, you name it, man. All the top Ganons were there. And I lose my round 1. Also, Adam, shout out to Adam. He was there too. Before he was a dirty Ridley main now, but yeah. So 44 Ganons. I lose my round 1 to Bayo. Then I win twice as many sets and become the highest placing Ganon. People were saying no Ganondorf is going to make it out of pools at a Smash 4 S tier event, and 3 Ganons ended up making out. Is 4 keys from Anubis and me, and it's still, even through losers, I was the highest placing. I beat a ranked Diddy Kong player from Arizona. And then I beat Razzo in a crazy set, like Ganon versus Peach. I got this nasty turnip 0 to death on him. Not turnip, Saturn. He pulled out Mr. Saturn, and I used it against him to get like a 0 to death on game 3.
Nothing better than like using a character's own item against them, you know?
Yeah, I definitely did that in the Diddy Kong match too. And then lastly, I beat K9S Bruce in Ganon versus Sheik, which is horrible in Smash 4.
Oh, I turned around, grabbed. That's not what I wanted. I must have fast fell somewhere.
Yeah. And then I ended up losing to Yeti's Toon Link, who Yeti did a 3-way tie for the top placing Toon Link there with Sigma, and I believe it was 3XA, or is it 3XA, or is it? I think it's 3XA. But yeah, it was a 3-way tie for Toon Links, and I was the highest placing Ganondorf. And they had something on a compendium for like highest placing X player of each character gets $200, so I got like $200 for outplacing all the Ganons. Like 44 Ganons, 3 losers after losing round 1, and that was huge for me. So in the same month, I got first place in Arcadian. 49th at an S tier with solo Ganondorf. I got a PGR win with Ganon in one of Ganon's like worst matchups in the game. So I thought that was my peak, but I ended up like 3 months later in Smash 4. I ended up doing really well at a Michigan Regional. Got 9th there, beat Zenoto's brother, and then Ultimate came out. And I'm just like, you know what? I wanted to be a Cloud Lucina main when Ultimate came out. And I'm just like, I do not like Cloud. They ruined his up smash. They ruined his limit. And then I saw the drug that is Ganon's new up B, and I'm like, wow, dude, I can never go back to Smash 4 again. But Ultimate Ganon goes kind of crazy.
Right. You say up? Did you mean up smash?
I'm like Cloud's up smash, yeah. Oh no, I meant Ganon's up B. Ganon's up B goes crazy, and really? Ganon's up B in Smash 4 doesn't kill like at 200%. This one kills like at 80.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Yeah. So it definitely became a pretty good option for you. Kind of like, was it like Captain Falcon kind of has that as well with his Falcon dive and whatnot.
Right.
All right, so moving forward, let's kind of get into more of the game plan and style. So how are you comfortable playing? When you're playing Ganondorf or any of your other characters, but mostly Ganondorf here, what are you focusing on? What are you trying to get your opponent to do? And like, how are you trying to make sure that your game plan goes as smooth as possible?
Right, because I played Ganon casually in Brawl and competitively in Smash 4, competitively in Ultimate and at this point probably like a decade of Ganon experience. So I'm looking at like in terms of like what I want from my opponent. Bye-bye. Not doing that. Not trying to land into their up smashes, but so specifically speaking, Ganon has been regarded like worse. Like he's been called worse in the game for 3 Smash games straight, basically. Like whether or not that's true. That just goes to show that, like, with so many matchups in the game, whether it's like 30 or 58 or 87 matchups, whatever game you're playing, Ganon has a lot of losing matchups. So because of that, Ganon is forced to play at his pace, because if he plays at his opponent's pace, he will lose. Like, that's just goes to show, like, if the matchup is even or worse, or super worse, or mega worse, or unwinnable, if the matchup is net position, you have to play at your pace, because the moment you start playing at your opponent's pace, you will lose. Like, for example, I called matchups like Wolf or like Terry or like Wario even matchups. So, like, even in an even matchup, Ganon can get rolled over. I've even gone off and said that Ganon wins like 3 to 5 matchups. And, like, while Ganon can win those matchups, every character in the game destroys Ganon. But the thing about those winning matchups that I brought up is my argument is that Ganon destroys those characters back a little bit more.
Right. But it's kind of like the like in Melee, how like almost every character has like a 0 to death on the Spaceys, but the Spaceys still kind of beat everybody.
Yeah, 100% like that. Yeah.
Right.
Really good example. So yeah, in terms of what I want from my opponent, I want to control the pace, and the best way that I can do that is to put myself in a position where I can get the first stock. Because if I get the first stock, then I can just snowball the lead. Because like at that point, every Ganon hit is money. After that, like I get one hit, I should be getting a minimum of 20%. You know.
Right. I mean, that's just what Ganondorf does really well, man. It's just putting down that damage, getting those big meaty hits.
Yeah, that punish game is entirely like introduced from like Smash 4, where it's just like if you're playing the matchup of Ganondorf versus Bayonetta, you can only imagine how brutal that was, especially with pre-patch Bayonetta. So like if you can only get one opening on Bayonetta, you better hope that you get the stock or something off of it, you know.
So yeah, so Ganondorf again, just kind of like a quick go over it. Loses to basically everybody, but still beats a few characters a little bit better than they could beat him, right?
Right, yeah.
Right.
He might have like 5-ish, maybe more, maybe less winning matchups in Smash Ultimate, and then he has a lot of relevant evens and a lot of relevant slight losings. So it's just like he's a lot better than people give him credit for.
Right. So good stuff. So moving forward here, let's kind of talk about your skill level, your current skill level. Where do you think you are, and then where do you want to be by the end of like Ultimate's lifespan?
Right. I talked about this at great length, where it's just like, again, because of Ganondorf's obvious weaknesses, like, you need to have a good mentality and good mindset to play this character. But I'm in the mindset where, like, you know, I feel like I'm not worried about the top 10 PGR. I'm just worried about matchups at this point. So it's a matter of having my, can I have my execution down on the day of, and can I have my movement and my mindset and my mentality on point on the day of. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, in the last week, I've had YouTube videos with MKLeo, with Tweak. I've already fought the best of the best, so it's just a matter of like, can I do it on that given day? Can I beat them in 2 games or 3 games? You know?
Right. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Because I know you also have 2 Link and Wolf, you know, to hit certain matchups, like particularly Snake, and you were talking about Snake players earlier. So it definitely makes sense. It's really just about matchups. And honestly, I think that's a big point to go even further. Oops. That by the end of this game's lifespan, I think it's a lot of this is going to come down to matchups. It's not necessarily who you're playing; it's who is the person that you're playing. Who are they playing? You know.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty good point.
All right. It quite literally doesn't matter if you're fighting Tweak or you're playing on Elite Smash. Sephiroth will always have the same weaknesses. He will always lose his stock in the same way. You're fighting Sephiroth, you're not fighting Tweak. If you remove the pedestal and just go into the matchup on paper, Ganondorf versus Sephiroth, you'll completely like change the world of like how you like tackle like matchups.
Right. So from there, where do you want to be by the end of Ultimate?
Okay, so I think I had a really good opportunity over quarantine to actually finally work on my brand, because before that, like, the funny thing about this is being called the best Ganon in the world. I did that while I was balancing prioritizing being a TO, because to me it's more valuable that my region has good events than it is to like build my own name, and that's got to say something to like a certain level, because it's just like, if I'm considered the best Ganondorf in the world, and I say this as a joke all the time, like the biggest brain dead baby character to make content with. And I gave away all those opportunities to make content with Ganondorf, like to the point where like an Ike player named Maloney is seen as the best Ganondorf by meme or whatever it is. Shout out to Maloney, he's a good friend of mine. But yeah, he's got videos in Alfred's videos or like content creation. Like yeah, he's on Alfred's channel as like fighting the best Ganondorf with like Maloney and Alfred. So like. The thing is, like, I'm using all my extra time to like run 2 to 4 weeklies a week, plan monthlies and regionals, travel to majors to see if I can volunteer staff with them. So the fact that I can get these results that we talked about throughout the entire like podcast while I'm prioritizing TOing goes to show that like I want my scene to like thrive and stuff like that. So now, because I went from running 2 to 4 weeklies a week and planning regionals to running 0 tournaments a week, essentially. I'm like, I can finally work on my brand, and instantly in the first month I hit 100 subs on Twitch, and now I've hit the 500 milestone and stuff like that. And I'm just like whenever I set to my mind to something, I feel like I can really like show up and prove myself. Like I have something to bring to the table. I know what I'm talking about, but the thing is just like the matter of just like putting my energy into that specific task at the given day. So where do I want to see myself towards the end of Ultimate, or at least like maybe at least like a year from now in Ultimate and stuff like that? Well, as vaccines are starting to open up in the past year, I've gotten a lot better at like event production, and I learned a lot about like what it means to run an event even more than I already used to. And I mean, that just goes hand in hand of like, you know, being a commentator on the Juice Box and seeing the Team Liquid production firsthand, or just being part of the Host Up series with the Riga Cord, or doing the Hit Point Online stuff with Facebook Gaming. And it's just like, I think I've definitely honed my skills. And even in that result where it's just like spending the last year working on my brand, finally making Ganondorf content to an extent, not the extent that I want to just yet, because I still want to do better with my YouTube and Twitch, but like finally actually putting myself out there in terms of like making content creation. In the end, it's just to benefit the idea of being a TO still, because it's just like whatever I can do to improve my brand will in turn like eventually work down the road. So like getting to Twitch partner, building my channels, all that's just gonna be a result to like the goal that I started when I started the tournament org that I run. We didn't really touch on that, but I run an org called Hit Point Tournaments, and I have been for 4 years. And Like whatever success I have with my personal like Smash goals, I want that to carry over because as cool as it is for one person like me to shine, I think if I can host a PGR event for 200 people or 300 people or 400 people, if I can host a tournament, it's way more than just me reaping the benefits. It is 200 people with a chance to like amplify their voice. Like I've held the regional in my state, and a Tato one, who's like a ranked Ness in my region. He was the only person to take #1 from Ned in Ultimate, at least for one season. And like he's told me that was like the best day of his life. So it's just like I could do that. And on that same day, Frosty, our ranked Belmont player, 3-0'd Mute. So it's just like if I wasn't TOing, these opportunities wouldn't show up. You know, so. At the end of the day, my goal is to get more people playing the game and talking about the game. So whether I do that through my gameplay, by like inspiring people to play Ganon and stuff like that, or whether I do it through my lessons, through Metafy, the commentary on Juicebox, or just running events, like whatever I can do to get people playing the game, that's the biggest part of me. That's the reason I started doing it like 5 years ago.
Gotcha. So it's all about building a community for you. It's not necessarily about like you trying to build as a player, which I mean, it's not saying that's not a factor at all, but it's definitely about building a community for you, and I think that's awesome, man. It's really great because I think there's a few people who have really done well in building a community. Like shout outs to RJ. Like RJ's held down like the tri-state scene for how long, you know? So like it's good to see people who focus on the community in general. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, same can be said for Chris from Master Hand Gaming from the same region as RJ from New Jersey. Shout outs to Chris. That dude is just like a powerhouse. Like whatever I do in Illinois, he does like a mirror image of it in like New Jersey. So like tournament production and event organization and stuff like that. So also big shout outs to Master Hand Gaming and Crystallodian. I still care very much about like Ganon's results because otherwise why would I keep playing them if I didn't? But like if I cared more about results, I would solo main a top tier. If I cared more about competitive, I would solo main a top tier and stuff like that. And I still play other characters. I do play Wolf, I play Pyra Mithra, I play Sephiroth, Cloud, whatever. So I definitely play a lot of characters in the game because I think it's important. And that just goes to show it's like that's if we're talking more on the competitive angle of things. Oh man, I missed that fair. So if we're talking more on the competitive angle of things, I very much think that solo Ganondorf has what it takes to like top 8 super majors. Like I think I could have super top 8'd Frostbite, for example. Like I mean I basically 2-0'd Charlie. I literally SD'd twice on game 2. So basically it's not good enough. So if we're going to talk about how, yes, okay, I lost to Charlie the King, but let's talk about how I beat Rivers and Lima right before that, like because that wasn't on stream. But that just goes to show, man, it's like mentality, mindset, and Ganon can do it. Because like had I beaten Charlie, my next opponent would have been Samsora, who I played a lot in multiple Smash games. So I have a really good understanding of that matchup. So yeah, where do I see myself like a year from now? Like ideally, or like a year from now, we're like more deeper into Ultimate. Like I've already started my Twitch channel, so I see myself streaming more often. Maybe using that as a method for me to get like find a way to like travel and compete at more majors, and then the other majors that I can travel to, I'll be looking to like staff. If I can staff more tournaments, that would be really cool. Because like I think there is a lot of merit in being someone that understands what competitors want. You know, like you're driving out of state to carpool, you want to make sure credit where it's due when it comes to stuff like seating and like gas reimbursements and like hotel, like housing situations, stuff like that. So where do I see myself? I see myself like allowing myself to on my platforms to like keep creating meaningful Smash content. And using like if I make any money from my content or my lessons, to put that to go into more events where I can continue to prove that Ganon has something to say in Ultimate, and seeing what I can do to help out on Smash tournaments, because I've flown and driven to Smash cons on different years. I've flown to I literally drove to Gamo by myself, dude. I straight up did a 9-hour drive by myself. Because like it's Gamo, man. I want to be there. The after party was on a boat, man. EMG does it big, and that was one of if not the best Ultimate major I've been to, because the attention to detail there was excellent.
It sounds like a good time, man. But man, driving to Gamo, that's rough, man. I remember back at Big House 6, me and a friend, we drove to from North Dakota out to Big House, and that was like a 16-hour drive, and that felt like hell. So I can't imagine how long your drive was.
Yeah. It helped that East Michigan was the midway point because I got so many friends in East Michigan. So I went to their premiere weekly on that Thursday night, and I did pretty good at that weekly too. And then I didn't actually do good at Gommel itself, but I don't know. I think the good that I did at Gommel was more important because like I helped out with setups and I helped out. Just I don't know. Yeah, I love being there. I had to be there, dude. EMG again does it big. So yeah, I think Gommel. I think Gommel and like Frostbite are like two of my goats of like Ultimate so far, and also like Evo. Just in terms of like what it is for a Smash tournament, I don't think Evo was very good. There was not that many setups, and they didn't run doubles. So, but other than that, I think it was just a really cool way to be. Like if you're 21 in Las Vegas, then there's a lot of stuff you can do there.
No, for sure. So, going from there, real quick, I do want to touch back on you being the player Rickles again. Like, what do you think your weaknesses are as a player? We're not going to talk about Ganondorf because we could talk about that for a while. But, like, you as a player, do you think you have any weaknesses that you think stick out and that's something that you're actively trying to work on?
Yeah, my weaknesses are talking during the game. Then I lose the players that are way worse than me. And then, anyway,
Rickles, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to say the least. But yeah, weaknesses as a player. This is kind of tough. I guess one of my weaknesses could be that I don't actually like get in the training room and lab. My method of labbing is honestly like quick play to an extent because Ganon is a very read-based character. So like I'm trying to understand like what the human reaction is to a Ganon hit. So it's just like as soon as I get a single hit with Ganon, there's a tree that branches off in multiple directions. Like where could the opponent go? And that's basically what like I'm setting my eyes on. So I think quick play is like underrated in terms of like matchup knowledge because like the characters are always going to have the same strengths and weaknesses. Right. But in terms of that, I do think there's some lab-worthy stuff I could do for Ganondorf. For example, like the ledge slip stuff that was recently discovered, or down throw back air, which is something I just don't have the muscle memory for. But I usually opt for down throw fair, and it usually works in a lot of positions anyway. So I'm not sweating it too much. It's like if I can get to be called the best Ganon in the world by players like MK, Leo, and Tweak without using Ganon back air that much, that has to say something about me.
Right. No, I think you're definitely on to something there. Yeah, man, it's just, who knows where you could be if you lab. But I think it's interesting that like you think that I don't think I've heard anybody say so far like they just don't lab and that's kind of their weakness. I really just clipped your toes.
I play the game a ton, dude. Online, offline. I play the game a lot.
Right. I mean, sometimes you don't need the lab when you play the game enough, you know?
Right. I do think that a position, if I did do the down throw bear, or if I do like ledge trump stuff, I do think I would have more mix-ups, which would help. And I think another thing that would help me just be better in general, just not myself, but like I would like to get like a modded controller, maybe like a Switch Pro controller with like notches and like like snapback and like something really nice, like a controller that I only need one of, because like I'm on my 4th Switch Pro controller right now, and like all of them have either been drifted or like I lost one of them, and that's a big part of it. I think getting a way better controller so I can just focus on the game at hand. And obviously, like I think I said it before, one of Ganon's like biggest factors is mental. So if I'm not worried about things like money and stuff like that, or like how where am I going to stay for an event, or how much is it going to cost, how much is it going to set me back? It's like I am getting older to the point where I can't keep doing this stuff forever. So like if I wasn't worried about like monetary, or I wasn't worried about like my control, if my mental is focusing on the game and game only, I think I could push Ganon to those like heights where I've talked about that I think he can make it to.
Right. Who knows? I mean, I think it's... Wow, I'm all over the place. So we talk a lot about like how this game's pretty balanced anyway, and like I feel like I'm with you where Ganondorf could potentially start getting some of those higher placements and stuff like that. I don't know if I agree with top 8, but I mean it could happen, and it just comes down to the player just applying the knowledge and the game plan and just kind of going from there. So I think I am with you on a bit of that for sure.
Yeah. And when I bring up the top 8 example, I'm just strictly going to bring up my bracket at Frostfight 2020. So say I didn't SD against Charlie, then I win 2-0. I fight Samsora, who I've beaten him in sets online, taking games on him in money matches offline, as well as like in Smash 4 too, when Ganon was worse. And I guess Peach arguably could have been worse in Smash 4 as well. But I've taken Samsora on games on Samsora multiple times. And if people thought the roof was like the venue was going crazy for me and Charlie, the roof would have been blown off for me versus Samsora, like straight up.
Gotcha.
Like it would have been insane. So say I get past Samsora, then I would have fought Toast, which again I talked about my Young Link experience. I can do it. And realistically speaking, I don't think I would have beat Toast the way he was playing that day because he made top 8. Yeah. But like I think it was still on the table. It wasn't off the table. I think when we start getting off the table, it would have been winners quarters, which would have been against Meister, and then my losers top 8 qualifier would have been against Light. And I'm just like, hey, Light, the Fox dude, like maybe I don't know if he's ever lost a Ganon before, but I think I could beat him.
I get you. I mean, no, yeah, he lost to Nairo's Ganon, remember? That was like one of the most legendary sets of all time.
Yeah, I was trying to be funny.
I got you. I thought you just forgot.
I get reminded all the time. I'm sure Light gets reminded even more than I do.
Probably, yeah. It's definitely got to be an experience for sure. But moving on from there, though, let's we did talk a little bit about where you want to be, and then what do you think your weaknesses are and stuff like that. So before we actually start wrapping up here, we are pushing about 46 minutes. Is there anything that you want to bring up, like a topic, doesn't have to be Smash related, that you kind of want to put out there to let people know about you, or just something you think is important?
I will say this about like this because this is based on the player Rickles. I will say this is that whether or like I do strongly believe that Ganondorf can. I do think Ganondorf can get these top 8s at Super Majors, and I think that it doesn't have to be me. It can be any other Ganondorf. Like so, let that be a testament to something. Like if you can take away anything from this interview, think about how I did all of this while focusing on TOing. And I blame a lot of my losses on like my own decisions in terms of the gameplay, not the matchups on hand. Right. So I want it to be the takeaway where Ultimate Ganon is not Brawl Ganon. Ultimate Ganon is not Smash 4 Ganon. Ultimate Ganon, the way he takes stocks and the way he holds stocks is way more relevant in this game, and he's a lot better than people think. But because the community comes largely from Smash 4 and Brawl, because a lot of the top players come from there and they use their voices, like they're going to be like, oh, I just beat Ganon like he's nothing and stuff like that. So I think they're not going to really believe it till they see it themselves, but Ultimate Ganon is just not, it's apples to oranges, man. You can't compare him to Smash 4 Ganon.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to compare the two anyway. I mean, we just go straight off of the, just the smash attacks alone, never mind everything else. it is certainly different.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like we're going to be wrapping up right here. We're hitting about that 48-minute mark. But before we go, I have one last question. And I know you've been having that Raising Cane's background a little bit, so I just kind of want to know, what is your go-to meal from Raising Cane's?
All right, this is my go-to meal, and I get the box combo, no slaw, extra toast with a lemonade, honey mustard, and an extra cane sauce, and that evens up to $10 even for me.
Oh, really? So is that partially why like you get what you get because it's just an even $10?
I love it. Yeah, I think that definitely makes it so I get the extra sauce every time too.
For sure.
But yeah.
All right. Well, hey, good stuff. Again, everybody, this is Rickles. Again, Ganondorf extraordinaire. Thank you for coming on. Just coming on to, talk about yourself, talk about your experiences. I really appreciate that. I think it helps people kind of get a little bit of a deeper view and who Rickles is and what Rickles is all about. So, yeah, appreciate it. For those who don't know, obviously you should know by now, but me and Rickles are the top 8 Juicebox commentators. You can always catch us on Wednesday nights, but not the last Wednesday. That's the Lunchbox for Hungrybox and, yeah, all that good stuff. But Rickles, before we go out, do you want to let the fans know anything, like where they can follow you? I'll throw your links into the bio as well, but...
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch and you can find me on Twitter and YouTube at youtube.com/RicklesTV, twitter.com/RicklesTV, and Twitch. On Twitch, it's different. It's twitch.tv/Rickles. It's just Rickles on Twitch. So you can catch me on those socials. I stream a lot more than anything. I'm not on Twitter too often. I'm still on there a good amount. I would like to be on there less, but yeah. Twitter, Rickles TV, YouTube, Rickles TV, and Twitch, Rickles. And yeah, maybe we'll see me running some tournaments in the next year for sure, if anything. And I'm running online events too, so look out for that. And if you guys are interested in my commentary or my coaching or some help running events or like production for stream and stuff like that, I'm really good with personal streams or whatever. Hit me up.
For sure. Good stuff. And yeah, that's going to be it. So we're going to tune out here. Again, Rickles, you can follow him at what he just mentioned there. Also check the links below. We also got some links down there for people who created the opening and closings if you'd like to, commission anybody else. But yeah, that's going to be it for us. So thank you for coming out for Skiff Smasher Showcase, and everybody else, be good to each other.